Part 1. The envelope. I wake up already tired of a day that hasn't started yet. February 14th, Valentine's Day. The light through my curtains is soft, ordinary, completely unaware that today carries the weight of something I've been avoiding for a year. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed with an envelope in my hands. It's slightly crinkled at the corners because I've picked it up and put it down at least 6 times this morning. Her name is written on the front. Lila. I trace the letters with my thumb like they might rearrange themselves into something safer. Something less dangerous than what's inside. I haven't decided if I'm going to give it to her. That's the problem. I've already written it, folded it, sealed it. Which means, at some point, I was brave. Now I'm not so sure. And the worst part is, this isn't the first time. There's another envelope in a drawer across the room. Same name, same date, last year's Valentine. Unopened. Unsent. Hidden away like evidence of a crime no one knows I committed. I told myself I wouldn't do this again. I told myself loving my best friend silently was manageable. That I could live with it. That wanting her quietly was better than risking losing her loudly. I was wrong. Because today, I'm not just carrying a letter. I'm carrying the question I've been avoiding for years. What happens when the person you love most in the world is already your closest friend, and saying it out loud could take her away from you forever? I glance at the clock. I'm meeting her in an hour. Lila will hug me when she sees me. She'll reach for my hand without thinking. She'll smile that easy, familiar smile that has undone me 1,000 times in 1,000 small, harmless moments. To her, today is just coffee. To me, today might be the day everything changes. Or the day I decide, once again, to say nothing at all. I slide the envelope into my bag like it's fragile. Because this isn't just a Valentine. It's a confession. A risk. A quiet, trembling hope I am not ready to name. And as I stand to leave, I realize the truth that has been following me since I woke up. I'm not afraid that Lila won't feel the same. I'm afraid that she might. Part 2. First realization. The bus ride is short. Familiar. I've done this route so many times to meet Lila that my body could probably get there without me. Outside the window, the city moves in its usual rhythm. People heading to work. Everything is normal. Which makes it worse. Because for me, nothing feels normal at all. My hand stays curled around the strap like if I loosen my grip, the envelope might slip out and expose me to the entire bus. I try to distract myself. Count stops. Read signs. Watch people get on and off. It doesn't work. The question slips in anyway. When did this stop being friendship for me? I don't mean when I admitted it to myself. I mean, when did it actually change? When did something cross a line so quietly? And then I remember. We were sitting on the hood of her car after a late movie. The parking lot was mostly empty, washed in that orange streetlight glow that makes everything feel softer than it really is. Lila was laughing. Not politely. Not the laugh she gives strangers. The real one. Head thrown back. Eyes squeezed shut. Completely unguarded. She bumped her shoulder into mine, still laughing, and said, "You're so annoying," like it was the highest compliment she could give me. Our hands were resting between us on the warm metal of the car. And without looking, she slid her hand over mine. Not to hold it. Just to rest it there. Casual. Absent-minded. Familiar. Her fingers curled slightly against my palm like they had always belonged there. She kept talking. I stopped hearing anything. Because in that exact second, something inside me went very still. I remember staring at our hands and realizing I didn't want her to move. Didn't want the moment to end. Didn't want anything in the world except to sit there forever with her hand resting on mine like it was the most natural thing. And I knew. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just with a soft, terrifying certainty. That I'm in love with her. Lila kept talking. Laughing. Completely unaware that my entire world had just shifted. I never said anything. The bus jolts slightly over a bump, and I blink back into the present. My grip on my bag has tightened so much my fingers ache. I loosen them, then tighten them again without meaning to. Because that's the problem. I have known for a long time. And I am still on my way to meet her like this is just another day. Part 3. Meeting Lila. I spot her before she sees me. She's standing outside the cafe, half in the sun, half in the shade, scrolling through her phone with that slight frown she gets when she's reading something too seriously. I slow down without meaning to, just to look at her for a second longer. Because this is the part no one understands about loving your best friend, you never get used to the way they look. It never becomes ordinary. Then she glances up. Her face changes instantly. That smile. The one that feels like it was made for me. She waves like we haven't seen each other in months instead of 3 days. Maya. And just like that, everything is easy. She pulls me into a hug that is warm and tight and completely unremarkable to anyone watching. I breathe her in like I've been holding my breath all morning. Happy Valentine's Day, she says lightly. Teasing. I laugh. Don't start. We fall into step beside each other without thinking. Same pace. Same rhythm. The kind you only develop with someone you've walked beside for years. We're talking before we even reach the door. Some story about her coworker. Something mildly ridiculous. I respond automatically, teasing her back, slipping into the familiar pattern like muscle memory. It's so normal. So dangerously normal. Inside the cafe, we find a small table by the window. She sits across from me, leans forward, elbows on the table, fully present in that way she only ever is with me. Halfway through telling her story, she reaches across the table and takes my hand. Not to make a point. Not for emphasis. Just because. Her thumb starts tracing lazy patterns against my skin while she talks, completely unaware she's doing it. My brain goes quiet. Because this exact thing, is what has ruined me for years. A simple, absent-minded touch from her, like my body is a place she rests without thinking. Flashbacks slip in without permission. Couches. Movie nights. How she never sits beside me, she folds into me. How she tucks herself into the curve of my side like that spot was made for her. At some point during the movie, without fail, her legs end up thrown over mine. Heavy. Warm. Comfortable. She'll wiggle her toes absent-mindedly against my thigh while arguing about the plot, completely unaware that I've stopped following the story because all I can feel is the weight of her on me. Or during long drives, when her hand rests on the gear shift beside mine. Our fingers brushing. Neither of us moving away. Until the contact stops feeling accidental and starts feeling deliberate, but never acknowledged. Or when crossing streets. How she grabs my hand without looking. Not dramatically. Just automatically, like it's a reflex. Her fingers threading through mine with a familiarity that feels practiced. She'll keep holding it long after we've reached the other side, still talking, still distracted, like she's forgotten she's doing it. I'm the one who feels every second of it. Or how, when queuing at supermarkets. Standing shoulder to shoulder. How she leans into me slightly, resting her weight against my arm as if balance requires it. Sometimes her head tips briefly against my shoulder while she scrolls through her phone. Casual. Comfortable. Devastating. All of it so normal to her. All of it so loud inside me. I come back to the present and realize she's still holding my hand, still talking, still laughing. Like this is nothing. Like this has never meant anything more than comfort to her. I smile back at her, nodding at the right moments, pretending my heart is not doing something it has no business doing in a public cafe on a Thursday afternoon. This is how it has always been. Effortless on the outside. Impossible on the inside. Part 4. The almosts. Lila hasn't let go of my hand. She's stirring her coffee one-handed now, distracted, telling me about something that happened at work, her thumb still moving absently against my skin like it belongs there. I nod. Respond in the right places. But my mind continues drifting through the archive of moments I have replayed too many times to count. Moments that never meant anything. Except to me. I remember the first time someone asked us if we were dating. We were at a friend's birthday dinner, squeezed together on a couch because there weren't enough seats. Our thighs pressed together, my arm along the backrest behind her shoulders. The friend had laughed and said, "You two are basically a couple." I froze. Lila didn't. She smiled easily and said, "It's just us. Just us." Everyone laughed. Moved on. But I remember how my stomach flipped at the way she said it. Soft. Certain. Like there was something she wasn't explaining. I told myself later I was reading too much into it. I always do. Another memory rises without warning. The night she called me at 2 a.m. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. Something had gone wrong with her family. I didn't even ask questions. I just grabbed my keys and drove. She opened the door and collapsed into me like I was the only thing holding her up. That evening, we sat on her kitchen floor for an hour. Her head in my lap. My fingers in her hair. Her breathing slowly evening out as she calmed down. I told myself that's what best friends do. That's normal. Then there was the time I mentioned, casually, that I had gone on a date. She had gone strangely quiet. Not upset. Not dramatic. Just still. "Oh," she'd said, after a pause that lasted a second too long. "That's nice." She didn't ask anything else about it. Later that night, she texted me 3 times about completely unrelated things. I remember staring at my phone, wondering why she felt suddenly far away. I told myself I was imagining that too. Across the table now, she looks up at me mid-sentence. Our eyes meet. And for a second, neither of us looks away. The moment stretches. Quiet. Heavy. Then, like always, Lila breaks it first. She glances down. Takes a sip of her coffee. Keeps talking. She always pulls away first. Every time a moment lingers too long. Every time something feels like it's about to tip into something else. She's the one who resets it back to normal. Back to safety. And I have spent years convincing myself that all of this, the looks, the pauses, the closeness, the way she says, "just us," is nothing. That I stitched meaning into harmless things because I needed to. Because I wanted to. Because I'm the only one here who crossed that line in my head. I squeeze her hand slightly, grounding myself back in the present. She smiles at me like she always does. Warm. Familiar. Uncomplicated. And I tell myself, for the 1000th time, I imagined all of it. Part 5. The trigger. Lila lets go of my hand to reach for her cup. The loss of contact is small yet loud. She takes a sip, then says it casually, like it's an afterthought. "Oh, Maya, I have a date tomorrow." And, just like that, the air changes. Not outside, but inside me. Everything goes very still. "I almost forgot about it," she adds. "My sister set it up. Apparently he's really nice," she says, punctuating the sentence with air quotes. Which usually means painfully boring. She finishes with a small, theatrical sigh. I nod. I even smile. But I'm not in the cafe anymore. Because I have heard this sentence before. Same tone. Same lightness. Same awareness of what it does to me. A flashback hits without warning. Last year. February 14th. A time like this. We were sitting on her couch. Takeout containers between us. Some terrible rom-com playing in the background that we were both pretending to watch. She'd said, halfway through a bite of noodles, "I have a date later on." I remember the way my chest tightened so suddenly it felt physical. Like something had pressed down hard and fast and wouldn't let up. I'd gone home that night and sat on my bed for a long time, staring at nothing. Then I'd taken out a piece of paper. I didn't plan to. I didn't think about it. I just started writing. Everything I had never said. Everything I probably would never say. I folded it carefully. Put it in an envelope. Wrote her name on it. And slid it into a drawer. Told myself it was a one-time thing. A pressure release. Something I would never do again. Back in the cafe, Lila is still talking about this evening like it's mildly inconvenient, but funny. And I'm sitting here with another envelope in my bag. Because here we are again. Same day. Same sentence. Same feeling. Part 6. The first letter. When I did the first letter last year, what went through me wasn't jealousy. It was something heavier. Quieter. The realization that I was going to keep doing this to myself forever if I didn't let the feelings go somewhere. I reached for a notebook not because I planned to confess, but because I needed the words out of me. I wrote about the parking lot after the movie. About her hand resting on mine. About the way she says my name when she's tired. About how being near her feels like standing too close to a fire. Like it's comforting and unbearable at the same time. I cried while writing it. Quiet tears that fell onto the paper without me noticing until the ink started to blur. When I finished, I felt strangely calm. Like I had moved the feelings from inside my chest onto something I could fold. So I did. I folded the paper carefully, slid it into an envelope, wrote Lila on the front. And then I stared at it for a long time, because I knew even then I would never give it to her. I opened my drawer, placed it at the back, and closed it like I was sealing something away. I remember whispering to myself in the dark, "Never again." Before I tell you what happened next, a quick Valentine's recommendation. A girl once told me she hates Valentine's gifts, that most of them feel like someone panicked in a mall. So this year, I wanted to get her something soulful. That's where my recommendation comes in. The infinite bracelet, with a tiny heart in the middle. Quiet, elegant. She can wear it with a hoodie, to work, or on a date. I picked the color of her birth month, and she clocked that immediately. It's sterling silver and stainless steel. A quick wipe, and it's shining again. The chain adjusts, which saves you from doing wrist math at 2 a.m. When she saw it, she looked at me like I'd cracked the code. In case you're also busy trying not to panic this Valentine's, I have shared the link to this foolproof gift in the description below. So there's no reason not to gift her meaningfully. Now let's get on with Maya and Lila's story. Back to today. We sit at the cafe, talking about small things. Safe things. But something between us has changed, and we both feel it. When we stand to leave, neither of us does the usual quick hug and wave goodbye. She hesitates. "Do you want to come over for a bit?" she asks. Casual. Too casual. I don't feel like going home to an empty house tonight. I should say no. I know I should. But I nod anyway. Later, I'm sitting on Lila's couch. Her curtains half drawn. Her mug in my hands instead of the cafe cup. Same conversation. Different room. And somehow, it feels more dangerous here. Part 7, The Decision. Since her date announcement, I've been zoning in and out of our conversation. Seated on her couch, I catch the last bit of her sentence. "So I guess I'll find out tomorrow if he's worth the effort," she says lightly. Her voice pulls me back into the present, her living room, the couch we've shared 100 times. History repeating itself. I can't do this again. Not another year of pretending this is manageable. In that moment, something inside me settles with painful clarity. I'm not going to confess. I'm not going to give her the letter. But I also cannot keep loving her like this and pretending I'm fine. So I decide something quieter, more survivable. After today, I will step back. I won't reach for her first. I won't lean in. I won't feed this unnamed thing between us anymore. The decision happens silently while she's still talking. And it changes me immediately. I shift slightly away from her on the couch. Fold my hands into my lap. Create a space where there was never space before. It feels like moving an ocean 2 inches to the left. Part 8. Lila notices. She keeps talking, then pauses. Her eyes flick down to my hands, back to my face. She leans closer, like she's trying to cross a distance she can't explain. "You okay?" "Yeah," I say too quickly. She watches me now instead of talking. "You're being weird." I'm not. But she knows me. She reaches for my hand the way she always does. This time, I don't meet her halfway. And I see it happen. Confusion. Then something softer. Almost like hurt. She sets her mug down. "Maya, did I do something?" I deflect. Soften. Protect. "No. Of course not. You're here, but you're not here," she says. "You're not doing the thing you always do." "What thing?" I ask. She opens her mouth. Stops. Because whatever she was about to say is too big to survive out loud. She looks shaken now. "I don't know how to explain this without sounding weird," she says. My heart is pounding. There was a time, years ago, where I thought something was wrong with me. I sit still, listening to her. I started feeling things I didn't know what to do with. Things that had to do with you. She pauses. Then continues. I panicked. Because you didn't seem to feel it. You were just comfortable. Normal. So I told myself I imagined it. At this point I can't breathe. It wasn't that I didn't feel it, she continues softly. It was that I thought you didn't. Something in me breaks open. Lila, I whisper. She looks at me like she's been holding this in for years. I feel her breath before I understand what's happening. And before either of us can think our way out of it. Her mouth is on mine. Soft. Her lips are warm. She still tastes faintly of the hot chocolate she made earlier. Sweet. Familiar. Terrifying. For half a second, my brain goes completely quiet. No thoughts. No fear. No history. Just her. I kiss her back without deciding to. Instinctively. Fully. Like my body has been waiting years for permission my mind never gave it. She exhales into me, a soft, startled sound, and her hand comes up to my jaw, holding me there like she's afraid I'll disappear, and it sends something hot and dizzy through me. I lean into it. Into her. Into this. The room tilts. I don't know who moves closer first, but suddenly there's no space between us at all. Her fingers slide into my hair. My hands find her waist like they've always known where to go. She kisses me again, deeper this time, less uncertain, and years of restraint unravel in seconds. Her mouth leaves mine for a second, and I feel her breath against my cheek, my neck, and the intimacy of that almost undoes me more than the kiss itself. I am melting into this. Into her. Into something I told myself could never happen. And that's when fear crashes in. Loud. Violent. Sobering. This is real. This is happening. This will change everything. I pull away too fast. Stand up too fast. Like the only way to survive this moment is to put distance between us before I lose the ability to. This is a mistake, I say, breathless. You have a date. You don't. You don't actually feel this. You're just confused. Maya, she starts. I should go. I grab my bag and leave before she can stop me. The cold air outside hits my face and I don't realize I'm crying until I taste it. I don't stop walking. I don't know where I'm going. Only that I need space big enough to contain what just happened. My lips still feel like her. My body still feels like it belongs in that moment I just ran from. I press my fingers to my mouth like I can erase it. Like I can put it back where it was, in the category of almosts and maybes and things I imagined. But this wasn't imagined. This was real. She kissed me like someone who had been waiting to. And I kissed her back like someone who had been starving. My chest tightens. Because if that was real, then so were all the years before it. All the looks. All the touches. All the moments I told myself I was reading wrong. My heart is racing in a way that has nothing to do with running. Because this isn't just about a kiss. It's about the terrifying possibility that I have not been alone in this. And that is somehow scarier than loving her by myself. If she feels this too, then everything changes. There is no going back to just us. No going back to couches and movie nights and automatic hand-holding without knowing what it means. The possibility that she feels like I do oddly frightens me. I stand there, breathing hard, trying to convince myself I did the right thing. That distance is safer. That silence is safer. That pretending is safer. But my body is still humming with the memory of her hands in my hair. Her lips. I eventually head home for a long, restless night. Part 10, Valentine's morning. There's a knock on my door early the next morning. I open it. Lila is standing there, holding the letter. She looks like she hasn't slept. Why didn't you tell me? She asks. I can't answer. I look at her, perplexed. You dropped it yesterday when you picked your bag, she says. I'm still at a loss for words. I thought you didn't feel it, she says. I built my whole reality around that. Tears are in her eyes now. All those times I pulled away? I was trying to stop myself. All those times I acted normal? I was trying to protect us, she says, her voice breaking. Every mixed signal. Explained. I kissed you because I couldn't pretend anymore. My voice is shaking. I thought you didn't mean it. She steps closer. Her tear-filled eyes shimmering into mine. I've meant it for years, she whispers. She steps into me like she has 100 times before. But this time, nothing is unspoken. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is hidden. Her hands hold my face. Please stop deciding what I feel for me, she whispers. And this time, when she kisses me, there is no fear, no confusion, no silence left between us. Only the overwhelming realization that we were never alone in this.
Hi ladies, thanks for sticking around till the end. I'm just one African storyteller, sharing love stories the world told us to hide. Please subscribe and help keep these voices alive, one story at a time.